Hey, if you like my videos, you might also like my comedy series YouTube Blue, which premieres every Saturday on the YouTube Blue YouTube channel. Go check out the link in the description and the card above to watch the latest episode. Now on with the video. Hello everyone and welcome back. So today we're going to be looking at WandaVision episodes 4 and 5 because those have come out and I decided I want to talk about them because, well, they're new and I have to review them for moral reasons. So, let's talk about these things. So, I really thought these episodes, especially episode 4, was a real breath of fresh air. And I've said in the past that I really liked the first 3 episodes, and that's true. And I completely defend those episodes. I say that they don't have to be the kind of cookie cutter, like Marvel feeling show. It doesn't have to be that in order for it to be good. And I still think those episodes are really good. But with that being said, watching episode 4, which felt pretty much exactly like a Marvel movie, it felt so good just to watch something that felt like a Marvel movie after so long of not having any Marvel movies that were new to watch. So that was great. And so episode 4 was really like, it almost felt really short. Because like it felt so much like a Marvel movie, which I'm not used to seeing shows that feel like Marvel movies, like MCU movies. That like it felt really short, even though it was about the same length as the previous episodes, maybe even a little longer. Because it literally felt like I was watching a Marvel movie, and then somebody turned off the TV half an hour in. And then episode 5 was a little bit of a combo, leaning a little bit more towards what episode 4 was than the other ones, if for no other reason than it feels like that just because they kept kind of breaking the illusion more and more, even when we were in Westview, I think it's called. I think that's what it's called. I'm being told that is, well, in fact, what it's called. Anyway, so episode 4 started out with the blip. Seeing that actually happen to civilians, and I think that was a really interesting way to start it, and a really interesting thing just to see, because, you know, that'd be a very confusing thing to happen for both parties involved, people who didn't disappear and people who had, and it'd also be really confusing and kind of sad for the people who were coming back from being snapped out of existence, and it would probably also be really happy and also sad for the people who had been sticking around this whole time, and now suddenly everybody's back. And so it was really interesting to see how that actually played out with people. And that kind of leads me into Monica Rambeau, because, I mean, first of all, I think we can give Captain Marvel a little bit more credit in how it set this up a little bit more, and how this is seemingly setting up Captain Marvel 2, because there is a kind of throwaway reference to Captain Marvel in episode 5. I think it could have been handled slightly better, but I think it's alright. Anyway, so Monica Rambeau, for those of you who don't know, she was the little girl in Captain Marvel, and now she's grown up, and apparently her mom, who was also in Captain Marvel, and was Carol Danvers' friend, she ended up founding S.W.O.R.D., and she died during that 5-year gap after the snap and before the blip. So then Monica Rambeau has to come in. She has been working for S.W.O.R.D., but now she's back working there, and her first case to look at is the Westview case. And that leads us into introducing Jimmy Woo. And I think Randall Park is great in the role of Jimmy Woo. Obviously, he was great in Ant-Man and the Wasp, and it's awesome seeing him back again. So actually, if you've been on Twitter, there was a tweet that went almost kind of viral, and that was an actor. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But he was the guy, he was in Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, he was the star of that show, and he actually made a tweet where he said that Jimmy Woo should have his own, X-Files type spin-off, which I think is a really cool idea, and apparently he's, working on a pitch for Marvel, which is a whole nother can of worms. But anyway, I think Jimmy Woo would work great in another show, even if it's just in the similar capacity here where he's kind of investigating something like in Miss Marvel, or in She-Hulk or whatever. But also I think it'd be cool in his own show, even if it's not just Jimmy Woo, Agent of Sword, or something like that, then it'd be really cool to just see him in action in maybe like a damage control series or something like that. I think that'd be really cool. And it's great to also see Sword introduced here, because there's been rumors about Sword being introduced into the MCU for a while. Not necessarily rumors that it was happening in WandaVision, though. A lot of people were saying that once the Nick Fury TV show was announced, that Sword would be introduced there, and since then we've learned that that show is Secret Invasion. And while I definitely think it's a possibility, given that it's like an alien threat and Sword does deal with alien stuff, that Sword that Sword could be a big part of that show. It was a bit of a surprise to see them introduced in WandaVision, but a welcome one. I really look forward to seeing them show up more. Part of me thinks that like Marvel was like, okay, so I mean, we've used S.H.I.E.L.D. in movies in the past, but then we had that show which we're trying to kind of get away from the Marvel television series. So I guess we can't really use S.H.I.E.L.D. much in these upcoming series, so I guess we'll introduce Sword in order to kind of compensate for that. But it's welcome in my eyes. Then we also see Darci Lewis, who was in the first two Thor movies, and she's back, and she's great. It's great to see her again, but also she doesn't really do much. I mean, like, she is there in terms of, like, she contributes plot-wise, but like I don't know. It feels like you could take her character out and do like a quick rewrite, and it would still be mostly the same. But as I said, I think she's it's nice seeing her again. Now let's talk about Tommy and Billy, who are now like growing up, and just like how they, you know, Wanda was pregnant with them, and got along really quickly. They grow up really quickly, though also it seems like they almost have a power to kind of age themselves at will. And I wonder if it also works in the reverse, like if they could, like if they were like 40, just kind of age down into their 20s or something. That'd be kind of interesting. I don't know if that's something from the comics or something that's wholly original here, but it is kind of interesting. I also wonder if they're real or not, like because all part of at least some level of Westview is just something that Wanda is creating. It's kind of just this question of like, are Tommy and Billy completely fabricated in that reality, or are they actually real? Like, for example, if maybe this show ends with Westview, that kind of bubble, being destroyed, the Hex, which I think is a really nice nod to Scarlet Witch, by the way, but if the Hex is destroyed, will Tommy and Billy just zap away, or will they remain behind? It's also interesting in something that we'll get to Wanda near the end. It's also, I had an interesting idea. I thought it'd be really cool if once they get to like the 2000s, if they had that opportunity to do like a Zack and Cody style episode. I think it'd be cool. So let's talk about Vision. Vision is in episode 5 becoming more and more aware of what's going on, and really gets really angry at Wanda. And I think it's really cool that all that happens. And it also brings up this interesting thing where he says that he doesn't remember what it was like before Westview. And so really what I think that's saying is that it's not like Wanda brought Vision back to life. It's more like Wanda just reanimated Vision, and now Vision is starting over just with a similar personality and kind of programmed to be pretty much like everybody else in terms of background in his head of, okay, well, I'm married to Wanda and we just moved to Westview, but he's not being really actively controlled by Wanda like everybody else. He has more free will about it. I mean, obviously we see that he's literally a corpse being animated, and I think that's really interesting. About Wanda, so what they've kind of revealed subtly in episode 4 and more outright in episode 5 was that Wanda is the one behind everything, and she kind of claims. And something interesting about episode 5 is you don't really know what to believe when Wanda is talking about what's going on, whether she's lying just to make herself seem good in front of Vision, or if she really is telling the truth. But she talks about how she doesn't remember really starting it, but that she does maintain it, i.e. like she is at least to a certain level in control of everybody. Like she does tell Vision, oh, I'm not in charge of like, you know, like every single person when they go to the bank or go to the grocery store and what they decide to do when we're not around them, which makes me think that either A, she's lying, or B, she might have some level of control over what's going on, but maybe there's something like you pull back the curtain. And I think it could really go either way in the show, at least conceptually. Either Wanda could be the end-all be-all, like kind of the villain, but also kind of not, or there could be like a kind of a secret behind-the-scenes villain that's also like maybe they created the hex and they're kind of helping Wanda maintain it. And at the end, they're going to kind of reveal that because first of all, not everything that we know adds up already, and also it's just kind of a matter of that Wanda, like it's just that like they revealed so early in the show that Wanda was behind it. It's hard for me to believe that there's not going to be some kind of twist to it. But speaking of twists, that leads me to Quicksilver appearing at the end. Played by the same actor who played Quicksilver in the X-Men movies as opposed to the one who played him in the MCU, which is kind of crazy. And leading to my theory about Wanda not being entirely in control, she seems really surprised by that. She says that she wasn't in control of like whatever knocked at the door, like she didn't do that, and is, as I said, is very surprised by Quicksilver appearing. So unlike when Agnes said, oh, Wanda is recasting Pietro, I don't think she is. I think whatever is behind the whole thing has sent that to her as somewhat of a distraction to keep everybody from thinking about everything too much and finding out about whatever the actual villain of the show is. So something else, a theory I thought that was worth mentioning was that at the end of this, since clearly Wanda's in some kind of bad mental state with the death of Vision, that she's creating all this, that at the end, when it all breaks down, she's going to go kind of insane and start messing up the multiverse stuff, which we'll get to in a second, and that she'll actually end up becoming the villain of Doctor Strange too, which I think is an interesting theory. But let's talk a little bit about the multiverse thing here before I go, because this video is getting pretty long. So the multiverse stuff, it is interesting. You know, there have been a lot of rumors about multiverse stuff in the past with the MCU. You know, there are a lot of rumors that you know, the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man are going to be appearing in Spider-Man Homecoming 3, and it's pretty much been confirmed that Deadpool isn't being recast clearly. So clearly, in that sense, Deadpool will be transitioning from the Fox universe into the MCU. So clearly there would be some kind of multiverse thing going on. But this is the first time it was connected. And while there had been rumors about like the X-Men version of Quicksilver appearing in WandaVision, I don't know if they were actually like backed in terms of like people knowing information on the inside, or just making kind of a good guess about what could end up happening, given there was hints to this being related to the multiverse. And I think it's really cool, and I can't wait to see where they go with it. But what do you guys think? Are you excited for WandaVision episode 6? Where do you think they could go with this multiverse aspect, and with Wanda, and with Vision, and with Jimmy Woo, and with Monica Rambeau, and everybody? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for daily videos on the franchises you love, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.